Hey everyone, this is Kim Beegler, owner of Ewethful Fiber Farm and Mill, and we're at the mill today in the back with some wool, and we're gonna wash this up. We're back at the washer. So if you are new, welcome. I talk a lot about wool, owning a wool mill, hand spinning, knitting, crafts basically, and if you're coming back, thank you. This is a fun one because I have got this unexpected pleasure of a Clun Forest fleece, and I am excited to have it. This is not something that you get every day, and there's somebody, a fiber friend, brought this to the mill and said, are you interested in it? And I was like, heck yes. I'm gonna hold some of it up close so you can see it here. And there is some, it's very dense. It's got a pretty dense lock structure to it. Hopefully you can see. Let me close it in a little bit. There you go. It's really lovely. It was very quick for me to skirt out. It doesn't have a ton of second cuts, doesn't have a ton of VM. So those are all beautiful things. So we are going to get this into the washer. And for those of you that have been here before with me, I'm going to go through, and I usually am doing a little picking as I'm going. And she does have other color sheets, so there could be some overlap in here, not the end of the world. So I'm just going to open this up. This is not like a hard fleece. This should be an easy scour. Some breeds are definitely easier than others to scour, and this one I am expecting to scour up nice and easy. And I'm sorry I didn't get some skirting on it, but I just can't get videos of everything. I would get nothing done if I had to go and get like camera equipment every time. So I just had the time this morning and skirted away. I do have one more fleece, so I may be able to plan better for that. But I wanted to bring something to the mill to wash today, and this was such an easy scour, such an easy skirt that I thought, let's do it. And it's freshly shorn, and it's white, so I kind of wanted to get it straight into the washer as soon as I could. So I'm just picking up a little bit, and I'm excited about this because we don't have a lot of Clun Forest around here. I actually had a Clun Forest 1U for a short while. As many of you know, I end up taking animals in quite often. And somebody emailed that knew somebody of somebody, and she had one sheep left in her flock, and it needed a buddy. Oof. That is gorge. So, and she was very old. We called her Liza, very old, sort of crotchety and she actually lived with the alpaca because I thought, oh God, our Shetland. So they were too young and insane at that point. So she lived with our alpaca. She lived her remaining days with the alpaca, which wasn't long. I'm going to say we had her for maybe 6 months before she just passed. Just slept, went to sleep one day, and she was a funny sheep. She did not like to be petted. That was not how she had been brought up. So, and as it turns out, when I was talking to Linda, who brought this fleece to me, there are not a lot of Clun Forests around here. So this breeder was like, oh, did she live out in this area? Had a couple Clun Forests. So I'm pretty sure that Liza came from that breeder, which is fun. Small fiber world. All right, I am going to, got one more little, and you can see how quickly I just was able just to kind of give it all a quick open. When I'm pushing down and feeling it, it's just because I'm trying to kind of make sure that the washer is semi-balanced, you know, just like you do back in the old day when you tried to balance your washer, your top loader. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this started, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's all washed up. All right, we are back, and my buzzer's going off, so I thought I would just open this up and we can take a peek in and see how it looks so far. It's literally like it just finished adding the soap to it. Ooh, there's a lot of wool in there. It's a very dense wool. So it already looks prettier, doesn't it? So I'm just kind of making sure everything's down, pushing it around just for a second, just to make sure everything gets into the soap and water. And then we'll go ahead and close the lid and let it do its magic. And this likely will need a second wash. It was pretty high lanolin. My hands were pretty greasy, so that's it. I'm just gonna go ahead and let the washer do its magic from here. All right, I'm heading in. I'm heading into the picture here. Here we are at the carder. I've got the Clun Forest ready to go. So Clun Forest, I'm gonna try to remember this offhand, comes from England. And I believe they were brought over to the US around in the 1970s or so. So not a crazy, oof, that is a beautiful staple right there. Not a crazy long time that they have been in the US. They are on the conservatory breed, so a rare breed. We do not have a lot of Clun Forest here, as I mentioned before. And so it's very exciting to have this fleece. It's very dense. I would put it as sort of a, I would say it's, I'm not sure how it's categorized, but it's kind of like a down breed. I would say it's similar to down breeding. Down breeds, it does not felt. So it's great wool for things like socks or hard wearing items, as well as wherever you else, but it does not have a propensity for felting, which is a nice thing in a wool. It is considered a medium, so that puts it, I think it's like in the 25 microns up into the low 30s, and it's very springy. It's a really nice wool, and I think it's one, we don't see it that often, right? But also I would say it would be in more of the what's the word I'm looking for? Under-regarded wool, because it is more of a medium wool and not a fine wool. But that doesn't mean it has wonderful uses for it, and it's going to be beautiful to spin. I just loaded up the first little batch. I'm going to load a little bit more. Actually, I'm going to start the carder up, and I don't know how well you'll be able to hear me. I'll try to talk louder and adjust the volume as this is going, but I'm going to put just a little bit more up on the carder. I'm just here weighing it behind the scenes, and I just want to get a little bit more fed on. It can have some pimp. It says minimal pimp from what I have read. I can't remember. When I had Liza, I actually never was able to get a fleece off of her. It was too rough by the time we got her, but I had gotten a fleece from that family the year before, and I recall there being a little bit of hemp in it. This does have a little bit of hemp, and it's actually dark hemp. Now they do have other animals, so it could be a little bit across, but I have a feeling that these just have a smidge of hemp, not a ton, but there's a little bit in there. And most of the time hemp will fall out, honestly. A lot of it will fall out as it gets going through the carder here, or when you go to spin it, or you can pick little bits out. There's not that much to it that it would be hard to grab it as you were going. So I just wanted to get this loaded up as evenly as I can here, and just kind of picking bits out of it. And we're going to go to the other end and catch it and start it into the roving deck. Let's head over there. We'll take a peek at it in the carder here, as we do these days, because it's just kind of fun and I can do it safely. So there we go, running through the carder, and we should have a good amount coming out now here on the end, I would imagine. Yeah, we got a nice sheet going. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the machine. Hopefully you can see. So there's some of it coming off, and we're going to try to not let it all fall off. So you're going to have to get a weird angle for a minute. Sometimes the fiber can weigh so much as it's coming off that it will just pull, and I need some of it to be on there. So let me get you set up and we'll get this going. I wish there were some perfect angle that I could do this with you all, but there just isn't. So I kind of have you just facing into the carder, and I'll do a little bit of work awkwardly over here to the side so you can see, but I'm just taking my little metal hook that I will run through the roving deck so that we can get some fiber going. And there's plenty there that I should be able to catch it pretty easily. And this is very awkward for me to do from this angle, but I'm going to go ahead and try to grab some of this. So basically there's a little hook on the end of that for those of you that haven't watched before. And what I do is I usually not so awkwardly, would just grab some of that fiber, hook it into there, and then we are ready to go. You can kind of see it loaded up there. So I'm gonna close this to get our belt on, and then we'll be ready. All right, before I get the machine up, I just wanted you to see, this is some of the Kemp that I just pulled. I would say the white is probably from this fleece for sure. The dark might also be. It could, like I mentioned, be from another, but I think they have Shetlands, and I don't know that this is what I would imagine to see in Shetland so much. So anyway, there's kind of what the Kemp looks like. And like I said, because it's heavier, a lot of times it will fall out kind of like VM does. I'm gonna start the machine up, kind of like VM does. Hopefully we're coming, looks like we're good. Ooh, that was a big, thick chunk. So you can see, like, this is some really dense fiber. And just by how much came out there, and how quickly it's becoming a nice, beautiful roving. Like, there's no wait time on buildup on this, so I'm just gonna I'll grab up that alpaca from the last batch. And we're ready to roll. Take it off so you can see. This is going to be really nice to spin. I'll take a little bit over and spin a little bit of it for you at the end of this episode. But I think it's going to be a lovely spin. All right, we are back at the picker, but what we are doing now is the bottom layer here is some very dark, like charcoal alpaca, and the top is Shetland. Now this is actually, I'm gonna turn the machine on. This is actually Shetland from our sheep. This is Moira Rose's fleece, but it is not a recent shearing. This is from fall. Really from like November or so. And so it was only her, I think it was about 8 months growth, which is kind of my happy place, especially with my younger ones. And so it's really lovely. And I'll show you a little clump of her fiber here in a sec. So you can see she's got some gray in there. Her fleece is so different. I've got to figure out how to work around this camera right now. Her fleece is very different than most of ours. It's a little more downy almost feeling than the others. I would say she's more on the, I don't know. She has beautiful wool. It's just a little bit different than, we have a couple sheep that are like that. And they put out some gorgeous wool. It's just different, a little bit lower luster than some of my other ones, which is not really typical for Shetlands to have a high luster. So this is probably a more typical Shetland fleece. A lot of people are breeding finer and finer. So anyway, I'm just layering this up and I am almost at the end here. This alpaca is a little bit compacted from tumbling and washing, so I'm having to do a little extra opening up on it. But let me take you over the last little bit of wool here, and you can see this is about 25% going in. Let's go to the other side here and you can see how much there is. This is about 25% alpaca. I think this is going to drop on us. Ooh, maybe not. 25% alpaca and 75% Shetland. So there it is coming out. And look at how much that's changed. Just 25% of that darker alpaca is really changing the color of this wool. And I think it's gonna be really beautiful. So I will finish this up and I'll let you see what it looks like when we take it out. All right, we are all done with this batch. And it is gonna be a lovely card. No doubt about that. So let me get this and see all the stuff flying around. Isn't that gorgeous? And that alpaca is gonna add such a nice handle to her already beautiful fleece. And Moira, I think, is probably about 4 now. Our youngest ones are not as young as they used to be, but still pumping out wool, man, tell ya. So I am going to pull this out, get it conditioned, and then I'm gonna go home and work around the house and make some dinner and do some crafting, right? Sounds like a good way to end the day and hang out a bit with my husband, which as we get closer into harvest, I get him less and less. So take advantage of when we can see each other. So there it is. I'm going to hold a little bit up close to you. I'm going to go ahead and condition this and then head out, and we'll head to the carder. There it is. Okay. See you soon. I can show you. So this is Shetland and alpaca. And the Shetland is the lighter gray color. The alpaca is a really dark, beautiful kind of charcoal gray. And this is Moira. This is actually from the fall shearing. So about 8 months worth of clip. And here it comes off the carder. And look at this, I'm getting static, which is interesting. You can see it's kind of sticking to the sides. Interesting. Okay. All right, we are here at the carder on the other end, and I wanted you to see this. So this is the alpaca and Shetland coming out, and I think you can kind of see how it's kind of sticking to the sides as it's coming off there. You can actually see the static pulling it towards, yep, there you go. See that? So I'm gonna stop this. And then we're gonna turn on the ionizing bar, which is acting up, but I just want you all to see how interesting it is, how much these ionizing bars help to cut down on static. Oh, being a little bit more quiet today. Let's see how she runs now. Sorry, I'm trying to like maneuver. So ionizing bar is on. Do you see how it's not pulling towards the side of the bucket anymore? I think you can kind of pretty clearly, and now it's starting to fall into the middle instead of being so static to the sides. That's just this little bar right here that is helping to keep the static down as the fiber is coming off the carder. It's pretty amazing what a difference it makes. And this one's been acting up, so I keep turning it off, but when I have this much alpaca, it apparently would like me to have it on. Okay, let's go see the other. What you talking about? Now you're not gonna talk? Should we clean more water bowls? Yeah? And he's off to go join his brother. Get some sunshine in. The grass is popping up now. I think he's gonna poop for you all. It's always fun. And he's off again. Okay, we are home now, you all, and I brought this fiber home to spin, and I am sitting at, this is a Majacraft. This is my love of my life wheels. This one is actually one of their early wheels, and it is probably from the 80s, and it still spins as the first Majacraft that I got. And it's still, and I actually wanted to show you what I just did there, especially for new spinners, but I find that I have a woolly winder on this, so it's a little more awkward to pull back. But when you're first starting fiber, you only get to do this once. But if you've got a lead and you tie a little knot on the end, then you can feed your fiber through and wrap it over the end of your lead. And I just find that it's easier if you feel like when you go to start a new fiber and you can't get it connected well, I think doing this little tip helps quite a bit. So this is the Clun Forest. And I'm gonna spin it long draw here for you because, yes, let's hope that wasn't the best join there, but this is a dream. I mean, I'm not having to do anything. So beautiful. And I have my Majacraft set on the middle whirl, the middle of the whirls. There are, I think, 5 options here. So I'm just spinning some long draw. This is a dream. I mean, literally a dream. I know I say that a lot, but this truly is a dream to spin. I probably would put a little bit more twist in it, as far as I would lower the whirl size I was on if I was going to spin this. It is kind of a shorter fiber. It's not short, but it is shorter. So that extra twist would help get that smaller drive. Having your drive band on a smaller whirl would help get that twist in just a little bit faster. But this is spinning up. Whew. It's spinning up beautifully, you all. It's hard for me to stop. I did get a sample spun of it just so I could show you what it kind of looked like. Long draw, spun long draw, so spun woolen style. Actually, it's kind of, I'd say it's woolen. We'll just go with woolen. And for those of you that are wanting to learn to spin long draw, you can do it. I do have an online class, which I always forget to talk about, but it is specifically for those that know how to spin short forward, but are wanting to learn to spin supported long draw and also long draw, but I really focus on supported long draw because that's what I tend to do the most. So you can always grab that up and start it anytime and get your long draw game going. Okay, I'm gonna stop this. We're gonna put that one aside. I'm just gonna loop it here for a sec and let me show you. This is the sample that I did a minute ago there. I'm gonna close in on it. And so it's gonna be, so like I said, it's not going to, you could, you know, if you wanted I think this would be a good wool for stitch definition. I would probably spin it short forward if I was gonna do something that was wanting a yarn that needed more stitch definition, but this way it's super airy and beautiful. This fleece has a great handle to it, so I don't know. I mean, I think I could wear it next to skin. It just depends on how tolerant you are of itchiness, I suppose. But it's beautiful, really, really beautiful. Okay, so next thing we're going to spin is that, and I'm gonna scroll. Actually, you know what? Do you like that little cat tail going in the background? Let's go ahead and move you all in and we'll do some close up of this short forward. Sorry, that was not so pretty. So I'm going to spin the next fiber short forward, and this is that Shetland alpaca. And what I'm actually going to do to get more twist in is I am going to adjust my drive band so that I can get a little bit more twist in a little bit better. And sorry for the awkward angle here, guys, as I adjust my wheel, but I want the twist to go in, and I'll show you in a minute. I did some samples, so it'll make sense why I did that when I show you the samples. Let's pull back a little bit here. Grab this. So my twist is going in a little bit faster. I didn't make any adjustments to the uptake, and now I'm just spinning short forward. And let me see if I can get back just a little bit more. So now we are spinning short forward. Hands are still nice and light. This is the Shetland alpaca. So this is our Shetland Moira Rose blended with that dark charcoaly alpaca. And the reason I wanted more twist in it, I'll show you. For some reason, I am in a phase right now where if I'm spinning more of a blend, I like doing short forward. I don't know why. I did not spin short forward for a very long time after I learned long draw, because long draw is so incredibly fast. You can spin yarn at least twice as fast spinning long draw. So once you start doing that, it's kind of like drop spindle versus spinning wheel as far as speed. You're like, but I could also spin on a spinning wheel and it would be super fast. So with this, I am just keeping my hands light. Front hand is light, even though it's keeping that twist from going behind it, it's still nice and light so that things can slide through when I want them to. My backhand's really light, and I just kind of am lifting up my thumb on my backhand as I am drafting forward. So let's show you, because I could do this all day, and maybe you could watch me spin all day. Let's take a moment to appreciate how this wheel that is from the 80s is such a beauty. These Majacrafts, man, they are not light, but they're worth carrying. Let me tell you that. They are absolutely beautiful wheels. I have a Majacraft Rose, both of which I've been able to get used because they are also very expensive wheels, but well worth it if you can budget it in somehow or save up for it. it's a wheel that you'll have a lifetime. So let me show you the samples that I did. And I'm going to show you the first one. I did this one and then I was like, well, that's a really bad sample, isn't it? So here's the first one. You can't even see like this, the yarn through, it's so underspun. This is what underspun looks like, you all. So that's one of the reasons that I went ahead and adjusted my drive band so that twist would go in faster to it. And this was short forward. That looks like it was long draw. So I did a new sample where I actually hadn't adjusted the drive band yet, but I just held on to the fiber for a little bit longer. So that's a little better, isn't it? It's not the most beautiful sample, but doing these plyback samples is never going to be a perfect example, but there it is. So hurrah! Both beautiful spins, beautiful spins. And I always like to remind you that all the fiber that I make on here, I'd say 98% of it goes up for sale. My Patreon subscribers that are paid subscribers get first dibs. I do online updates for them and they tend to grab up all the fiber at that time. So if you're interested in getting fiber, head to my Patreon community, plus all the other things. Okay, I had to cut short. It seemed awkward to just be sitting talking while you were staring at my wheel. So I'm back. Anyway, head to the Patreon community there. You get access to Q&A, live Q&A sessions. You get workshops, depending on the level you're at. You can get workshops with me. You can have social Zoom meetups. And it's just a lot of fun and a very inspiring, wonderful community. And to be clear, we don't talk about a lot of politics on there. So, if you're like, oh, you're a little political, Kim, that space is, when we're on Zooms and things like that, we're just being creative and sharing what we're working on. So if you're looking for that separation, it is there. Okay, I wanted to share some things from last week that I was working on. One thing, look, you all, it's done. So this is the dog hair from our dog Cash and one of our Shetlands, Dolly. This is the yarn. Isn't that so pretty? I'm so excited about it. I took it off the Nitty Knotty, which you all, if you're not a hand spinner yet, there is nothing better than taking your finished yarn off the Nitty Knotty. But I took it off and I was like, oh my gosh, it's much nicer than I thought it was gonna be, which was a pleasant surprise. So it's all washed, it's soaked. What I'm gonna do is skein it up, put a label on it with what it actually does have a label on it. And I'm going to write a note that I'm going to make these mittens with them. It's going to be in a bag, safekeeping, and in the fall, I'll start working on those with a reminder of what project it's going to be. That is 1 ounce of being organized in my life, and that's more than I have elsewhere. So, okay, other finish. Whoa! I'm going to step back so you can see these, and you probably can see Tabitha taking a nap too. They're done. My first pair of pants are done. I'll get Mitch to take a picture of me in them that is decent, but they are all done. These are the Nocturne pants by Sew Liberated. It's a pajama pant and they do it for beginners. It already has cat hair on them because I've been wearing them. There's pockets even. Check this out. Pockets. And I'm just really proud of these. So I already have my next project planned and it's to do a simple dress, and then I'll probably go back to a Sew Liberated online course for one of their tops. And I should say that Sew Liberated, their online course is amazing. It really is amazing, like step by step through making these. Nothing was left to chance. And their first class before that is just getting to know your machine. Nothing left to chance. I have learned so much, and I think they're both maybe like 4 to 6 hours each once you add up all the videos, but they're very similar to how I teach my online classes. Everything's broken up into chapters, super mindful, great videos so you can see what's going on, and the outcome is these beautiful pants, and I am so proud of them. So yeah, I'll try to get Mitch to take a photo of me so I can have you see what they look like on, but labor of love that I truly am excited about. The last thing I want to talk about was this outfit. So let's show this real quick. I'll stand up again and you can see this beautiful outfit. Woo-hoo. These, so both of these pieces of clothing are from a woman-owned small business here in the United States called Revival. And watch out, y'all, because my soapbox is starting now. And it's a good one. It's a good one. So stay tuned. So this is from Revival. This outfit, which is a thermal top, these beautiful overalls, they use dead stock fabrics, and it's all hand sewn in the US. A lot of times when you order something from them, you get a tag that says like sewn by, and it has pictures of the sewists in it. Super mindful business. This outfit, over $300. And I wear this to work because that is kind of their intention, and what they're making is like clothes for women that fit, that also can be worked in, because a lot of their clients are shepherds, farmers, things like that. But you also want to look cute and have things that fit. So over $300. Do I buy this stuff a lot? No, I'm super mindful because I don't have a ton of money, but I have made the choice to be mindful about who I'm buying clothes from, where I'm buying clothes from. Ideally, I love buying US made clothes, right? I don't buy a lot of other clothes otherwise. And it's small business is one of my main focuses. I love US when possible. It doesn't have to be mindfully made, right? So over $300. This is where my soapbox starts. Let's talk about the tariffs for a minute. First off, last week, if you watched the episode, you joined us, me and the dogs, out at one of our grass seed farms. So here we are, a farming family in the United States, where a majority of our product gets exported out of the United States, being hit by this 100%. So that affects where our product is going to get sold. And honestly, what happens when tariffs like this come in is that a lot of the countries that would be buying products such as ours go to another country. So what does that do for US farmers? So I'm a little annoyed. For a minute, this doesn't just affect farmers, it affects everybody. So why did I start talking about this outfit? Okay, so this outfit, over $300. For Christmas, I asked for a pair of jeans that were US cotton, milled in the US, sewn in the US from a small business out of LA, $240. Last year, I bought some washcloths, like to wash your face with. US grown cotton, milled in the US. I'm gonna say I paid probably $20 a washcloth, $15 to $20 a washcloth. I went on that same site, sheets from them, 100% cotton, grown in the US, milled, everything's done in the US. They start at $215 for a set of sheets. And that probably was not a large set of sheets. So for me, I tend to buy my sheets from Target for maybe $60 for a set of sheets. And that still is like, whew, okay, we're gonna do this, right? So here's the thing. We don't have a lot of industry like this in the United States anymore, right? At a certain point, a lot of this industry got moved out of the United States. We understand that. I love US grown products. I think those of you that follow me know how I have been extra mindful about buying US products. Now, that's not because I don't like other countries' products. It's just as a way to support small businesses in this country. That's why I have chosen to do it. So now what's happening is these tariffs are getting put on. We don't have this industry, and I'm going to focus on the textile industry because it's something I know well. There's a lot of industries out there that we don't have in this country anymore, right? But the textile industry, this is all made from dead stock fabric. Majority of this fabric most likely was not made in the United States because we don't produce a lot of textile fabrics anymore. And it's why the pair of jeans that I got, or those sheets that you're going to get, are so expensive, because we don't have the industry here anymore. We don't have the machinery. We don't have the buildings that the machinery's in. We don't have the skilled workers to work those machines anymore. So when you put tariffs on something without having the infrastructure already in our country to start manufacturing that product, what happens is all those affordable pieces of clothing, for better or worse, right? For better or worse, they become less affordable, because we don't have the industry in this country for people to buy reasonably priced. And by reasonably priced, I just mean like I think you know what I mean. If you have growing kids and they're going through all your clothes all the time, you've got to be able to buy clothes at a fairly rapid rate, right? And I'm not saying that somehow some of these clothes are made is wonderful. We all know that as well. But you are pricing people out, because what happens is those clothes now are coming into the country more expensive because tariffs have been placed on them. That raises the cost of those clothes. And in the meantime, we don't have the industry to make US clothes at the same rate or for anywhere near the same price. Why? Because the buildings are gone, the machinery is gone, the workers are gone. So why are we doing this is what we want to know. The infrastructure needs to be there. And I'm saying it's wonderful to bring lots of stuff and to reopen lots of manufacturing in the US, but it's not going to look the way it did back in the day, right? Everything has changed. If you bring this industry back, it takes less people to do it than it used to take. If it didn't, go back and look at the pictures of what that looked like, a spinning mill, any of these things. Who would want to work in that sort of environment now? Plus, we pay people a decent wage, kind of. So all of that's going to equate to higher costs for US made product, even if we start manufacturing at a higher rate. But in the meantime, now all the prices are going up on clothes because of these tariffs. Of course, in a day, who knows what's going to be happening. But on this particular day today, on a Tuesday, a couple days after these new tariffs went out, it's infuriating, it's frustrating, it doesn't make sense. It's why what Biden was doing before with chips made sense. Build the infrastructure, put the warehouses up, get the equipment in, which, by the way, where are you getting the equipment from? It's not like we've been milling equipment to mill clothes. So anyway, on so many levels, this is so frustrating. And this is just like one thing, right? This is just like one big thing that's happening right now that's getting our attention. And on top of it, you've got the measles outbreak. You've got the Health and Human Services being cut. You've got Gaza. You've got Ukraine. All these things that are happening all around us. And it's like, it's really hard to keep up with, right? And it's very discouraging. And this tariff on top of, we're burning our allies, and it doesn't make sense, because why wouldn't I want to support something, a product that's made in Canada that I love? Of course I would. Anyway, so just a little explanation. Here comes Nigel. He can't get back on the stage, so we're gonna have to end this soon. But I have been getting more mentions of stay in your lane. Kim, why are you talking about this? Stay in your lane. And a viewer recently posted when I started talking that it's important, and I can't remember your name, but I hope you remember who you were because it stuck with me. It is important that we continue to speak out so that all of this new speak that is coming from the White House does not become normalized. And it just hit home. If we just sit and let it just keep happening without continuing to speak out, it does become normalized. So that's why I'm here. And I wanted to talk to you about an industry that lots of us know, like a lot of these indie dyers that are dyeing yarn, a lot of that yarn comes from overseas. So what's going to happen? Tariffs. Okay, so let's talk about a few positives, right? Because I'm going to try to end on a positive note. Positives. The protests over the weekend. Amazing to see, right? Amazing, heartwarming. Thank you to everybody who got out there and protested, who is continuing to speak up, who's calling, who's sending emails. Thank you. Keep it up. We cannot be complacent. We cannot be complacent. And another perk is there is some splintering. There are some Republicans that are saying, especially on this tariff thing, man, no, like Congress is losing control. This is affecting all of the citizens, and obviously it's going to affect whether they get reelected or not. So it's affecting their jobs, and for lots of them, it's affecting their pocketbook, right? So there are positives happening, and a lot of it comes down to us continuing to speak up, to speak out, to get out there. So there you go. There's the soapbox for this week. Thank you so much for listening. You're welcome to comment below. I love to hear from you, but please don't say stay in your lane, because this is, if you know me at all, this is me staying in my lane. So thank you so much. And until next week, stay healthy, be kind to everybody around you, because we should not be divided. Let's figure out a way to come together and move forward and not be mean to each other. Let's just not be mean to each other. There's Nigel. And finally, make so many pretty things. Until I see you next week, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting. You can find me at ewethfulfiberfarm.com. Beingyouthful.com is the blog. You can find me in the Patreon community or the audio podcast Handspun. Everything is in the show notes. And I will also include a few links to some of the people that I am listening to, places I'm reading from, and trying to stay up to date. So thank you so much, everybody. Take care and keep making.